Yep, it's open. To start the car, you're going to put your foot on the brake pedal,
Yep.
which you have it there. And now we'll reverse to start. So go up on that. Yep. So go up a little bit harder. That just put it into neutral. Up a little.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep. Now it is in reverse. So, yep, you can back up slowly here and then we'll pull out of the neighborhood. All right. Now to switch it into drive, yep, just go opposite direction down and the car is in drive. All right. So now go ahead and we'll go out into the neighborhood. We're just a little ways into the neighborhood, and Oli is doing really well behind the wheel of the Model Y. He's picked it up really well, and right off the bat, what have you noticed that's kind of different with an electric car compared to a gas car?
Yeah, so the big thing when you come from combustion engine automatic cars is the automatic braking. That actually takes a little while to get used to. That once you release the brake pedal, that the car does not automatically drive. Stops. And so also while driving, when you release the gas pedal, the car stops. So
That took a while for me to get used to as well, and I'd agree that that's probably the thing that was most apparent when I came from a gas car. And initially with driving, what's coming from a gas car, what's one of the first things that you've noticed?
The first thing is that I'm usually used not to an automatic car, but to a
A manual car?
yes.
Yeah. That's
So
not
it's
not too common.
yeah, and so it's kind of a big difference for me, and that I have to keep my foot on the gas the whole time. This is especially for the Tesla, but with my car I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, so that's what Oli kind of mentioned as well. I mean, he doesn't drive manual, but the gas pedal is really hard to get used to, just with the regenerative braking. So you're from Germany. What part of Germany are you from?
yeah, I'm from Hamburg, which is actually the second largest city in Germany. It's way up in the north.
As far as cars that you normally drive, what's your normal vehicle brand, etc.?
Yeah, so I personally don't have a car because I can just easily commute with public transport in Hamburg. But when I drive, I usually drive like the cars from my parents, which are BMWs. Yeah.
It's a good German brand, so staying on brand. So you mentioned you drive manual.
Yeah.
What type of manual car do you drive?
A Mercedes?
Mercedes, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a German car as well, of course.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Good German engineering. But you're doing well so far. Yep, you can go ahead
so
this way. The acceleration can be kind of quick.
yes.
In the software of the car, you can actually choose different acceleration modes, so it's more or less sensitive. Here's another car that we're passing. All right, so one other thing that a lot of people notice too is just how clean the dashboard is. Do you kind of like this style, or are you just used to seeing a lot more components?
Yeah, I actually like the minimalism. The interior is very modern and beautiful. You need to get used to not having the speed right in front of you, I guess.
Do you like the style of the interior?
It's, I have to say, very clean. Um, I'm For me it could be more. I have to say, it's, you just have here the screen and nothing else.
Also, I've heard that Germany has certain cities where you're not allowed to drive. Oh, we're coming across the car here. Germany has certain rules where you can't drive in cities or areas of cities unless you have a car that's efficient. Is that true? And yeah, how does that work?
Yeah, so there are actually three categories: green, yellow, and red. So if your engine is pretty modern, you should have a green badge, and that would allow you to go into the inner cities of like most major German city.
Doing some gravel driving here. Another car is passing by. I know this is one of your first times driving the Tesla, but you've ridden with me quite a bit here over the last week or so. Well, as a passenger, have you noticed anything about the car? Anything that comes to mind that you found unique or very different than gas cars?
Yeah, well, I saw you using the automatic driving capabilities, which is pretty new to me. I've never seen that, which is quite interesting. And also, you've shown me the light show, the secret Easter egg that you discovered. Yeah, so there are these little differences, I guess, or these little sort of ways that Tesla does it differently than other car companies.
Once again, Steffi is doing really well behind the wheel of the Tesla. Some interesting insight from someone living in Germany. They have different roadways and driving on the left as
Oh, I
well.
would love to use the Tesla in Germany without speed limit.
With on the autobahn.
Yes.
Yeah, I think what's the fastest you've driven on the autobahn?
I was not so fast, maybe 150 or so, 160.
Kilometers
Yeah,
per hour.
kilometers.
Yeah,
So not so fast.
yeah. I mean, I don't know the miles per hour, but I'll put it up maybe on the screen when editing. But yeah, the autobahn is very different than U.S.
Oh,
roadways. So you've already mentioned that when you do drive, it's usually BMWs, and you're using public transit, so you don't need a car. But down the road, do you think you would buy a Tesla or an electric car? And if so, at what point down the road do you think that would be?
Yeah, so I like the concept of EVs. One thing that I'm still kind of worried about is like the longevity of the battery. Um, so I don't know. I would probably wait a few years and see how that turns out. Like new approaches, maybe to battery design, how that evolves, and yeah. But I'm definitely open to it.
That's oh, we're coming up on a deer here. Oli is slowing down. Actually, it is quite a few deer. You can get closer if you want. Okay, lots of deer. Some more are going to be crossing the road. Oli's doing well, and he hasn't had to use the brake pedal at all. Just hanging out. All right. Um, but yeah, that's a common concern that a lot of people have brought up. A lot of people are waiting to see how Teslas do. Although some of the earliest Teslas have been on the road for about 10 years, so some data is coming in, and I think battery degradation, for what I've seen, it really depends on how it's used over the life of the car. But I see maybe a 20% loss in range, roughly over 10 years, and uh, one thing that I considered before buying this Model Y on that end is there's so many of them being produced today that in 10 years, if and when I want to replace the battery, with all the money that's being pumped in by all the auto manufacturers, battery tech should be vastly improved, and the replacement cost should probably come down significantly. So that is one consideration I thought as well before buying a Tesla.